It's an early fall morning at the University of Bridgeport. The birds are perched on the campus library and singing. This is the Health Sciences Center, the home of the School of Naturopathic Medicine. It's quiet now, but it'll soon be busy with students and patients. As the sun rises over Seaside Park and Long Island Sound, another day of education begins at the school. It will be a particularly busy day on campus for fourth-year naturopathic medical students. They will be graduating in just a few months, but they still have exams to take and patients to treat. Three senior medical students, Monsi, Lindsay, and Vanessa, arrive early at the Health Sciences Center on a Friday morning to attend their classes and prepare for clinic. These three students will be taking us on a tour of a day in the life of a naturopathic medical student. This is the reception area of the Health Sciences Center. Our students pass through it every day on their way to clinic. It's vacant now, but as the day progresses, patients will begin to filter in and be greeted by students and their clinical professors. Our three students take the elevator to the 8th floor to attend their first class of the day. We first visit with Monsi as she explains her typical day in the program.
My name is Monsi Vera. I'm a fourth-year naturopathic medical student. A typical day would start around 6 o'clock, so I would wake up and usually do pranayama or yoga for about 30 minutes, do a little prayer, and then eat, shower, and then come to school, which usually starts around 8. We have class in the morning typically, and then clinic in the afternoon. There's some days that we have clinic in the morning as well. Clinic can run from anywhere from 2 to 6 or 4 to 8, so our day typically ends pretty late. A typical patient visit, if it's a new patient, it's for an hour and a half. The first intake does take quite some time because we're trying to understand the full patient, underlying causes of their disease, and trying to understand what's going on. If we're seeing the patient for the first time, we'll do a screening exam, so we'll actually go from head to toe and do a very in-depth and thorough physical examination. And then on return office visits, we might do more targeted physical exams. Yeah. So my day typically ends between 6 and 8. If I'm on campus and studying at the library, it could be even 10 or 11 p.m. But for the most part, it's been long days, so at least 12 hours, I would say. But you can have either one for the needle.
All right. So then their curettes are the Volksman curettes. That's
the
most common, and this
it looks like an ice cream scoop.
It does. A semi-sharp blade used to treat soft.
So one of the things that I do to relax is meditate and dance. So I love dancing. I'm a professional dancer. I majored in dance at Barnard College, Columbia University, and it's something that brings joy and also helps me refocus when I go back to studying.
As morning classes end, students report to the clinic where they primarily focus on the care of their patients. By mid-afternoon, Our second student, Lindsay, has a few minutes between patients to speak with us.
I'm Lindsay Marr, and I'm a fourth-year naturopathic medical student at the University of Bridgeport School of Naturopathic Medicine. I'm usually up around 6 o'clock, between 6 and 6:30, depends on how many times I want to hit the snooze. But I'm up around that time. I used to do some studying in the morning, but now the schedule is just way too packed that when I try to stay at home, I try to keep that more for me. So I'll do breakfast in the morning, try to take a shower in the morning. If not, do that at night, depending on how the day goes. And then class starts at 8, or there's clinic on Monday mornings at 8:30. And then classes are usually in your fourth year in the morning only. We don't really have afternoon classes since that's reserved for clinic.
So start out wide. So if I were suturing this, I would start wide and deep, then come over narrow and shallow. Cap it, and I'm going to make a lesion. What are you going to do?
Minor surgery. I'm enjoying that class because it's hands-on. Any of the classes that have a lab component are great. You know, when your head's in the books all day or you're listening to an instructor lecture at you for 2 hours, it can sometimes be a little bit mundane and you can get a little lost. So when there's hands-on instruction and there's a very tactile component to it, it's very engaging. I just had lunch at Seaside Park. And since I had some time to kill, my boyfriend actually brought lunch, so we ended up driving over there. And I find it to be a fairly clean park. There's a lot of different things going on. So they have a playground for the kids, and if you're feeling like a kid yourself that day, you can go hop on a swing. Also, the squirrels are actually pretty entertaining. They should be in hibernation, I think, but there's actually still a lot of them running around playing games. That's cool. Seeing patients here is actually, it's very enjoyable and it's very rewarding, but sometimes it can be a little stressful too. We get a lot of patients who come here, and this is kind of a last resort for them. They have chronic illness that they've been living with, and they're just unhappy with either the lack of progress that they're achieving or the goals that they're not reaching. And so sometimes, because we're the last, stop, there's a lot of pressure in that regard. And sometimes if they're not seeing results in 2 visits, which is a little bit unrealistic, it can be very frustrating on their end. So, but most of the time, patients come in here, they're really happy to see us, and which kind of, even if one patient didn't go well that day, there's always another patient who's feeling a little bit better or a lot better, and that helps to change the morale of things. So there's definitely a variety of things that we see.
It is now late afternoon, and our third student, Vanessa, is still seeing patients.
My name is Vanessa Rogeles Sepulveda, and I am a fourth-year naturopathic medical student at the University of Bridgeport School of Naturopathic Medicine. I'm also a primary clinical intern here at the University of Bridgeport. I have a dog, so in the mornings I get up earlier and I make sure that I walk my dog. I also have, some days I have class, some days I have clinic first thing in the morning. So I get ready, I make sure that I have my meals ready for the day, and then I head over to clinic or school, and I intern at various clinics throughout Bridgeport, as well as here at the main university clinic. And then I have various classes, so my classes will range from 2 to 3 a day, and that will be depending on the day. And then later in the evening, I make sure that I have some sort of break during the afternoon to go home and walk my dog, relax a little bit, and then either head over to class again or to clinic. So some classes we take multiple choice exams, some other classes we take more open-ended type of exams, and it just depends on the class. In general, they really focus on making sure that at this point in our education, we're synthesizing all that we know. So we're pulling in from different naturopathic modalities, and to be able to, take our exams and understand the material for different classes, understanding our modalities, and utilizing them properly for different treatment protocols. For someone that's interested in naturopathic medicine, I think it's important to know that we take 2 sets of standardized exams at 2 different points in our education in order to become licensed. So the first set of boards we take at the end of second year, between second year and third year, and that is pretty much biomedical sciences. And the last set of boards we take at the end of our education, then the fourth year, where we're integrating more of the naturopathic modalities and incorporating the biochemical sciences and pathology.
The students have a rigorous schedule to follow every day to meet the requirements of training. However, as students, they help plan activities and define various aspects of their training program through their student government working in conjunction with the administration. Dr. Prenguber, director of the program, explains.
Hi, I'm Marcia Prenguber. I'm the director of the School of Naturopathic Medicine at the University of Bridgeport. The students elect a representative for their class, as well as an executive board for the Student Government Association. The Student Government Executive Board meets with me regularly, along with the Naturopathic Medical Student Association. They're intimately intertwined, and we meet as a group and talk about their goals, their objectives, the kinds of things that they want to achieve while they're here, as well as any concerns that arise over the course of the school year. We look at what their budget will allow them to do in terms of educating and just having some fun activities. In addition, they focus a lot on Naturopathic Medicine Week, which occurs in early October, and we discuss what kinds of activities they want to try to do to educate the community, both on campus and outside of campus.
Just promoting, it's, the whole idea, especially when the findings is promotion of the fact that the clinic is here as well as the program. And so if we can, just to encourage your individual.
We have another room that's exclusively for the student government, and they use that to store the goods from event to event and to meet and discuss. We have a group of students who is particularly interested in women's health and wanted to get some extra experience with that. They really took the initiative to find ways to draw in patients to this particular shift. We identified dates. They asked faculty if they would donate some of their time to supervise them on these special clinic shifts, as well as did the fundraising event to try and help pay for the cost for some of those patients who are less able to do so. They put in an extraordinary number of hours, and we met weekly in preparation for this to try and really look at what issues would come up in terms of how to channel the funds, how to recruit the patients, and how to recruit faculty as well as extra students to have this experience. So you can always do the Kim. Doesn't have to be. So for students considering the School of Naturopathic Medicine here at the University of Bridgeport, I can encourage you to have contact with some of the students that are currently enrolled. They are very enthusiastic and have expressed over and over again how much they're enjoying their program and the process. They can tell you more from a student's perspective than I certainly can, and will happily share the tricks that they use to study, to integrate fun into their daily lives, as well as just how to cope with the stresses of being in medical school.